Okay. Once upon a time.
There is Tangled.
Well, no. Sit down and I'll tell you the story. Once upon a time in a land far away, there was a little tiny house in a big forest. And walking along this big forest was a little girl.
Named Hayden.
Not quite. Her name was Goldilocks. Do you know why her name was Goldilocks?
Yeah.
Why?
The three bears.
Well, yeah, but why was her name Goldilocks? Because she had locks of golden curls that went down her back, and she had beautiful yellow hair. And she was strolling along, minding her own business.
It was me.
And she came into a clearing in the forest.
It was me, Lux.
And in the forest, there was this tiny little house. And she said, I wonder whose house this is.
It's a mouse's.
And so she went to the house and she knocked on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Hello, is anyone home? She said.
With her pinky.
And she knocked on the house and nobody answered. And so Goldilocks, curious little Goldilocks with her golden hair, decided she was going to go into the house. So she opened the door, creak, and walked into the house. And she said, hello, is anybody home? Hello. Nobody answered. Did she go out of the house? No. She was so curious. And so she stepped inside the house and closed the door behind her. Click. And she smelled something. What is that smell? She said. And she followed the smell into the kitchen. And in the kitchen there was a big table, a big brown table. And around the table there were 3 chairs. There was a big chair and a little chair and a tiny little baby chair. And by the chairs on the table there were 3 bowls. A big bowl, a medium bowl, and a little tiny baby bowl. That's where the smell was coming from. So she went to the biggest bowl and she smelled in the smell and she said, porridge, I love porridge. And she smelled that creamy, weedy smell and it smelled so yummy. So she got her silver shining spoon, dipped it into the big bowl, put it to her lips and, ow! She said, that porridge is too hot. That's right. So she decided to try the next bowl. She got her silver spoon, dipped it into the medium bowl, brought it to her lips and said, ooh, that porridge is
Too
cold. Yes, too cold. And so she went to the 3rd bowl, that itty bitty tiny baby bowl. She got her silver spoon, dipped it into the tiny bowl, brought it to her lips. That tastes just right. That's right. And you know it, that little Goldilocks ate the entire bowl of porridge.
Yeah, I know this story.
Yeah, and then after she ate the porridge, she thought, after my long walk, I am getting kind of tired. So she went into the living room.
She didn't.
And in the living room, she walked in and saw 3 chairs. The first chair was big and brown and leather. And she could smell the fresh leather of that big, huge chair. Then she went to the next chair, and it was a medium chair with floral patterns, and it looked very
Oh.
Then she went to the 3rd chair, and that was a tiny little And it was like the chair I'm sitting in, but smaller. It was wooden, and it rocked back and forth. So she went to the big brown leather chair, and she sat down in the chair. And what do you think she said?
This is too
She
hard.
sat down, and her feet came off the ground, and she said, "This chair is too big."
And too hard.
Then she went to the
And too
next chair. And
then-
too hard, that's right. Then she went to the next chair and sat down and almost fell into the cushions. "Oh," she said, "this chair is too soft." Then she
Same with
went
the
to
beds.
the itty bitty little baby chair. She was nervous, but she sat down. "Ah, this chair is
Just wait.
just right." And she sat there and rocked back and forth and back and forth until she almost fell asleep. Then little curious Goldilocks thought, "I am ready for my afternoon nap." So she walked up the stairs, step, 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 and opened the bedroom door. And looked in and saw 3 beds. And so she came to the first bed, and she laid down and stretched out on the first bed and said, "Ow! This bed is
Too hard.
too hard." And she stepped off the bed and went to the next bed and sat down on that beautiful pink bed and laid back. And she said, "This bed is too soft." Then she hopped off that bed and went to the tiny little baby bed and laid down on the bed, and she said, "Oh, this bed is just right." And she pulled the covers on top of her and
Stop.
fell asleep.
I don't want to keep hearing the
As she slept, guess what?
bears came.
There were 3 bears walking through the forest on their way home from a picnic of berries and bread. And they walked in their house, and they thought something was kind of funny with their house. They went in the kitchen, and Papa Bear said, "Someone's been eating my porridge." And the Mama Bear said, "Someone's been eating my porridge too." And the
Can I
baby bear said, "Someone's been eating my porridge, and it's all gone."
And can I do his voice?
They were upset, and so they went to sit down in the living room. And the Papa Bear came to his chair, sat down, and said, "Someone's been sitting in my chair." And the Mama Bear went to her chair and sat down and said, "Someone's been sitting in my chair too." And the baby bear went to his chair and sat down and said, "Somebody's been sitting in my chair, and she broke it." Then,
How'd he sit in it when it was broken?
I guess the leg was broken and it fell off. Then they went up the stairs. And they opened the bedroom door. And the Papa Bear said, "I'm going to take a nap to get over this. I can't believe someone's been in my house." So he went and laid down on his bed and said, "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed." And the Mama Bear said, "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed too."
Can I tell you the baby
And the
bears?
baby bear said, "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed too, and she's still there." And the 3 bears said, "Rah!" And Goldilocks popped up in bed and saw 3 bears standing in the bedroom, and she screamed, "Ah!" And she ran out the bedroom, ran down the stairs, pop, 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 went out the living room, went out the front door, creak, and slammed the door, and she ran all the way home.
And locked it from the outside.
And the bears said, "Serves her right for coming in our house uninvited." The end.
Another one.